The Atlantic Ocean along the French coast can be pretty rough, but the people who live here, the Bretons, are used to it. Many here make their living from fishing, but near the island of Ouessant, the rocks make it dangerous for fishing boats. Dozens of them have crashed. But Captain Ondine Morin keeps coming back here. She knows these waters well. She was born and grew up in the region.
You can do whatever you want on Ouessant. It's a place where I can practice my chosen profession. I have complete freedom on this island.
Ouessant is sometimes called Women's Island. For centuries, many of the women here had to get along on their own because the men had all signed on as sailors on merchant ships. They'd given up on trying to feed their families by fishing the treacherous waters around Ouessant. Some of them left and never returned. Most of them visit their families just once a year. That's what Christiane's husband does.
The women had to take on all the responsibility and make all the big decisions by themselves. We couldn't even get word to our husbands if one of the children was seriously ill. The men were off in Singapore or Valparaiso, so it was the women who had to make life and death decisions.
The women did what they had to organize the community, and by doing that, gained a certain independence. They ran farms, paved the streets, and built homes. Here on Ouessant, more women work in typically male professions than anywhere else in France. Mireille drives a fuel truck in all kinds of weather. She's proud of the fact that women here can do any kind of job. They've demonstrated that over the generations.
In other places, women who do typically male jobs always have to prove that they're better than men. For example, in the Navy, or the Army, or on fishing boats. They have to show everyone they can do the work, but that's not the case here.
This expanded role for women workers has made Ouessant famous throughout France. Even though the island is sometimes caricatured as a stronghold of feminism, many local women don't like that idea. Lydie Jardon, a pianist from Paris, found out about that firsthand. She runs a music festival that features women composers and women soloists from all over the world. It's held in Ouessant every year.
It was perfectly logical for me to hold the festival on the island. Ouessant is known as Women's Island. If you can't hold a women's festival here, then where can you? So I went ahead with it.
But the local women did not take particularly kindly to a proposal from a big city feminist, and they've made a point of boycotting the festival. The men of Ouessant have gotten used to the distribution of labor and the fact that women outnumber men here. In fact, some men find these circumstances more than acceptable.
Back when I was still working, we didn't have to worry about anything. I'm retired now, and I still don't have to worry. My wife takes care of everything. The taxes, the paperwork, all the computer stuff.
But the women of Ouessant want to see responsibilities divided more equitably between men and women. Captain Ondine even convinced her husband to give up his job as a merchant seaman. Ondine grew up without a father. She doesn't want that to happen to her children.
My father was always gone while I was growing up. That was tough for me. When he'd come back on leave, I wouldn't even hug him. I simply didn't recognize him.
The women of Ouessant will continue to make their presence felt in traditionally male jobs. They won't give up the freedom that they won generations ago. But they also say it's time to bring the men back on board.